Okay, all set up for our solo playthrough. Let me give you the lay of the land on this beautiful game, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. To play a solo for Merv, I've printed off a wonderful reference sheet that you can find on the BGG forums under the file section. This is an awesome little cheat sheet. You can use the back of the rule book. There unfortunately is no player aid or aids for this game. That is kind of a ding. But I'll be using this and I'll explain each action as we go. Merv, the solo, is called the Corrupt Magistrate, and they're going to operate off of 6 cards. On their turn, you're going to reveal a card, and you're going to find that symbol out there, and you're going to perform that action. They are a cheater in all regards. They do not need resources. They do not spend resources. They do not place out any of the cube building modifiers. And there's a couple of things that they don't take as actions, but they'll receive as rewards. They are able to complete contracts without needing the influence, and they do not need to spend any of the favor to score down here in the palace. They also are not restricted on the caravanserai, I cannot say that word, on this card system over here. They can take whichever one they want. So they cheat at everything. You'll be playing your turn as normal, and if you notice, there is a third color. You're also playing with the High Courtier, and both of you will be influencing the High Courtier's position, depending on who's first or who is going first. I guess a quick overview of this game. There are 6 big actions that you're doing. One would be spending goods to place people out here in the different palaces to score on 4 different things, having the most scrolls, spices, goods, or advancements on the temple track. Over here is the mosque, which is a temple track, where you'll be paying different colored cubes, which are the resources, to advance up the mosque, earning benefits along the way and even points for end of game scoring. You will also be building walls to stop off the Mongolians from invading your buildings. They will go around the perimeter of this middle action selection area, and they will protect the 2 innermost buildings. Because whenever the Mongolians attack, they're going to go systematically and attack from each angle, so there's a potential that your building could get attacked twice. Over here is the goods section, where you'll be traveling to inner and outer cities and buying these goods, so exchanging your cubes for different colored resources. It's a market exchange, and you could potentially use those to solve contracts over here, as long as your influence is high enough. Down here, you'll be collecting scrolls or books, and after getting 2, 4, 6, and 8 of these scrolls or books, you will earn benefits along the way, and you earn these by spending different colored cubes, not the same. And up here at the caravanserai area, you'll be spending the same colored cubes to earn spices. And you can only collect a certain amount of spices depending on where your influence is. So right now, you can only carry up to 1 type of spice. Once you get further, then you get 2 and 3 and then up to 4. Sorry, 2. You can start off with 1. That's the contracts. You can only grab the cards that have camels on them, or the one that's next in line to have a camel on it. And then I think finally, the 2 other actions you can do instead of the main actions around the board are gaining favors on the favor track, or building a soldier out here to protect one of your buildings or someone else's building. You'll move like normal. You'll pick your action slot, and then you'll set for the next turn. The Corrupt Magistrate is going to flip the card, and there's actually an order in which they would like to place their person. There's a method A and there's a method B. They are going to evaluate the spaces. There are 4 of each. So the mosque, there's 4 mosque spaces. So I like to grab the 4th player color, and I will place all 4 of them out here to say, hey, those are them. So method A, they want to place a building in an available open spot. If you go down a tiebreaker, there's more than 1 available open spot. You'll go to where the most corrupt magistrate buildings are. Let's say there's none of those right now. You go to the most of the High Courtier's buildings. There are none right now. the most of your buildings, there are none right now, and then furthest from the queue. So they would go there. And then if you were to pick here, you would pick in a perpendicular row, because there's, let's say we just went here, since there's more than one. Sorry, that's a bad example. We'll say we're here later on in the game, and you want to choose one of these two. You would look at perpendicular rows and see which one has more of their buildings. Right now there's none. Then you go in a perpendicular row with more of your buildings. Right now there are none. And then at the end of that, you would just go furthest from the action slot, so ultimately it would be right there. Their cards have a certain strength. You'll notice that there will be a time symbol on these cards. That shows that however many buildings of the High Courtiers and the Corrupt Magistrates are in that row, they're going to be able to do the action that many times. So for instance, this one, they'll be able to take X amount of scrolls, where X equals the amount of their buildings. Both of theirs combined. And they do collect scrolls and spices. They don't collect any of the other resources, like the cubes. The kind of crafty thing about this is that when it's their turn to do order selection, we'll say we're like this. High Courtier is going to go in 2, 3. They would move, but if they had a camel, they would spend a camel and jump into first position. They always want to spend camels to go a position higher, and if they have more camels, they'll keep spending their camels until they're in first. The High Courtier will also do the same. They will also be able to earn camels depending on what happens out here on the board. I think we'll go ahead and just get started with the playthrough, and these actions will make sense as we just do them. So let me cut away and we'll get started. I'm going to try and start getting goods out here. I've noticed completing these contracts are really beneficial. So getting goods and getting scrolls is the way to do that. And then you need to get influence to be able to even solve these. So I have to do 3 things. I have to build walls or soldiers, go out here into the cities, and collect these cards. I will start off probably going as far over as I can and try and visit the market. Unfortunately, the furthest I can go over is in this middle aisle here. And I'll place a building. Which cube shall I go for? They like to take the top left. So let me go ahead and battle them for that. I activate that building. There's only one of my building. I'll earn this 1 lonely orange cube. Now I get to go out here and place an outpost. And obviously I'm going to go the Samarkand, however you say it. That'll earn me the camel. Place that into my area. Now I'll spin this cube to earn, I believe those are peaches. So now I have 1 good of peaches. Now I just need 2 of these scrolls and then a little bit of influence, and I can solve that contract over here for 5 points. Corrupt Magistrate's turn. Place their card way down here. They're going to go and try and get some scrolls. So we'll look for the 4 areas where they can do the scrolls action. So there they are. There's none of their buildings or my buildings or the High Courtier's buildings in any of those sections, so the ultimate tiebreaker is furthest from the queue. That takes these out of the equation, and then by default, there is only 1 available. They will just go right there. There is only 1 of their buildings or the High Courtier's buildings, so they'll only do this action 1 time. So they will earn 1 scroll in their work area. I went first, so I get to choose where the High Courtier is going to go, and then the Corrupt Magistrate is going to choose which area they're going to place a building. I don't want him ahead of us, so obviously I'm going to pick these 2. I'm not worried about mosques or favors so much right now. So I'll place him right here, because there's a higher chance that he's going to do mosque and favor. And whenever they place the High Courtier, they'll look in an area where I have the most buildings, and that's right here. So that's going to be bingo right here on this wall. Unfortunately, that's not kind of what I wanted, but we'll go ahead and just stick with that. High Courtier is going to go in 3rd. I have to go in 2nd. And now the Corrupt Magistrate is lined up to be 1st. We're We're going to flip the next card here. Now the High Courtier, or the Corrupt Magistrate, is going to want to do walls. Let's go ahead and find, there's only 3 locations now that are open for walls, because one of them is taken over by the High Courtier. There's none of my buildings. There is one of his buildings in this row. They will do that. Now they do interact with the market here in the center. They don't have any camels to place, and then there's not more than 2 camels. So they would normally take it if there's more than 2. Since they don't have either of those requirements met, they're just going to ignore it, and then they'll carry on. They'll place a building out here. Now there are 2 of buildings combined of his or the courtier's, so they get to build 2 walls, and they prioritize the top left, and then tan, and then teal, then purple, cheapest. So they'll build a purple and a tan. Now they like to cover the High Courtier's buildings first, and then after that they'll do their own buildings, and then worst comes to worst, they'll protect our buildings. They're protecting the High Courtier's building. They get 2 influence for doing that. And then the only other spot they can place this that would give them more points would be protecting High Courtier's building again. Now turn continues to me. I said I wanted to get some scrolls. I need 2 different goods. We'll go down here. I'll place my building out there. So now I'm going to earn a purple and an orange cube. But I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 different kinds to earn 2 scrolls. Now I'm set up to complete a quest, but I am not high enough influence to solve anything yet, so I have to wait. But I do get to earn one of these bonuses here. And if I'm trying to get goods, favors wouldn't be bad. Spices, I think I'm going to make it to where it's 1 resource cheaper to get spices or get the goods out here in the cities. That was my turn. High Courtier is going to go. Since the Corrupt Magistrate went first, they will choose where I have the most buildings. I'm in that spot. So now they will go where they have the fewest buildings. The fewest would be those, and then worst comes to worst, they're just going to do closest to the queue because they don't want the High Courtier to go ahead of them. Now I get to choose the location. It looks like later on these guys are going to be focusing on walls, so let me intentionally block that section because there's a nifty thing. Once we do a whole round, they're going to shuffle the 4 cards they did and put it on top of the deck. That means I have to know what they're doing, and I kind of have some foresight. It's a little bit of strategy and kind of a cool trick that this solo person is doing. I'll put the High Courtier there. I don't have any. I do have a camel. Do I want to spend the camel now, or do I want to spend it to go to the center market? I'll spend it now. I'll go ahead and wait. I want to let them jump. High Courtier in the back, sorry. Corrupt Magistrate is going to go out here and visit a city. I think I've done this. So they want to go a spot where they have the most buildings. It's obviously right there. That is the only spot there. So now they will take 2 of those actions. Now if I remember right, they prioritize an outer city. I'm going to act like a normal human because they're going to want to get that camel. Outer city, then empty, then top left, then clockwise. They get to do this twice if I remember right. So I'll place that there, earning them a favor, and now they're going to get a good of each. They get a grape, and then I don't know what that is up there, some kind of cloth. And now they're going to solve a quest regardless, or contract, regardless of what requirements are needed. The highest one they can do is right here. And if I remember right, if there's a tie, let's see what they pick in case of a tie. They're going to pick the one that lets them deploy a soldier. So they completed this quest here. They don't need the cube to spend to solve the quest, but they got 8 points on the board there. Now they get to place a soldier. They're going to place it in the leftmost, westernmost, unprotected building. And he's protected that way. He is the leftmost, westernmost, unprotected building right now. I'll take that back. The northernmost unprotected building right there. And he's going to score 2 influence for protecting a building other than his own. Now I think it's time for me to get some influence going. All the wall spaces have been built. Probably the best thing to do is to get a little bit of walls going right here. Place that. That would earn me a purple cube. I'm going to spend it to build a wall. And I want to protect my building, but I need to protect somebody else's in order to get 2 influence to where now, later on, whenever I get a cube, I can solve one of these quests. We'll go ahead and move the High Courtier. The Corrupt Magistrate is going to place him where I have the most buildings. And right now, that's the only available action spot because we are in the other 2. Now I get the place where they're going to go. And we'll do it probably where the favor is. Now I get to move up. I'm going to keep my camel for now. That lets Corrupt Magistrate go next. Corrupt Magistrate's next turn, they're going to be doing a favor. The open favor areas, I think there's only 2 of them right now. 3. Where they have the most buildings. 1 building, 1 building. So between these 2, now it's going to be most of the High Courtier's buildings. So that's actually just right there. So that's nice that they're going to just barely jump out right there. So they'll place a building right there. Now there's 3 combined. So they get to place out 2 people into the palace. Now they'll place it in such a way where they will score the most points. They have 2 goods. They'll go right there, earn a favor, and earn a point. And if I were to say most points, we'll just go there again. So now they would get 4 points total for their goods. My courtier gets to go. Corrupt Magistrate gets to choose where you have the most buildings. That would be right there. I'm not worried so much about mosques. I will let them place it right there on that mosque. I'm more worried about just getting cubes in general to get a contract completed. But I wouldn't mind setting up for some more goods. Let's see what I want to do. Get more books. We'll go here. I want more goods or more books. Let me get more camels. We'll go here. It's going to earn me a teal and a purple cube. Those goods there. Now I'll go out here and place a post down there. I'll trade in the purple cube. I get that camel. And I'm going to earn, looks like swords, rapiers. Now I have a cube and I have 2 scrolls and a good. And I wouldn't mind getting a favor. I'll build a soldier. So there's my cube to spend. I have a good and 2 scrolls. That lets me deploy a soldier and earn 5 points. Deploying a soldier, I'm going to be selfish and protect myself for 1 influence. Now, Corrupt Magistrate is going to jump the line with their camel. I will just jump and pay a camel. And we'll give the High Courtier 2 camels. Sure, let's do that. Now we're in a scoring phase. We'll flip this over. Down here in the bottom is the scoring phase. So spend 1 favor, then score. I don't have any people out there. They don't have to spend favors. So they're going to earn 2 points per good, 2, 4. I don't get to score that. And now it's pretty much just 1 point per building out here, and we all have 4. The High Courtier doesn't score. The Corrupt Magistrate doesn't use any of their buildings. There is no invasion phase. There's really no cleanup phase. We just go right into round 2. The one thing that you do with the Corrupt Magistrate, shuffle those 4 cards, and put them on top. They were building walls, going to the palace, going out here, and then earning scrolls, I believe. So they're kind of doing the same thing I am. We're going to be fighting a little bit. I could pivot, shift gears, and start going up the mosque and see how far we go, but I already have a good. I might just stick to my guns, but using a favor would be really good right now. I'm set up to go first. I did that on purpose. Building a soldier. Let's try a couple of things here. We'll place my guy here. I'm going to interact with the market. I will build a soldier, and I'll do it here on the neutral high courtier, earning me 2 influence. Now I'm going to build right here. That'll earn me a purple cube, an orange cube, and a teal cube. I guess a big rule that I forgot to mention, you cannot activate the corrupt magistrate's buildings, and they will never activate your buildings, so we do not scratch each other's backs. I've activated this purple palace. Out here, I kind of want to fight for the goods. Let me get rid of a cube to place one guy out here so I can get points per scrolls, earning me 1 favor that I can spend. And I don't have 2 of that color cube to place a second person out there, or I would. Now, Corrupt Magistrate is going to go. They want to do favors. And I think a lot of the favor spaces are taken. That is the only available space where they can take a favor. Now, there are 2 buildings total. They're only going to place 1 worker. Right now, they're leaning more so towards scrolls because they haven't advanced on the temple or spices. They'll really score the most points right here. We'll just keep them like that. Now, I went first. I get to put the Corrupt Magistrate anywhere. I'll put him behind. He's going to want to jump up anyway. It kind of doesn't matter where he goes. I could put him in the back so I could intentionally get camels from him. Now the Corrupt Magistrate is going to place him. Got to get my cheat sheet here. Always, always. Where you have the most buildings. So it's either of these 2. Perpendicularly. So these 2 rows. And then where they have the fewest, that's still both those rows. So closest to the cube is going to be this one right here. Now they will double jump because they have 2 camels that they can spend. They don't have any camels. They'll take that camel. And I will jump ahead and take that camel. So now the high courtier is going to go first. I am first to go, so I get to choose which row he's going to go in. Do I want to collect spices? I could potentially block him from using the middle row. I'll just place him here. And then by default, there is only 1 location that he can place a building. Now I'm next to go. I'm getting points per scrolls, and logically, we'll go way out here, placing a building there. So I get a tan, a blue, and a purple cube for my 3 buildings there. Now I spend up to 4 different goods. I do. Oh, that's not tan. That's white. Now I could spend my tan and my teal to earn 2 more scrolls. Now that I have 4 scrolls, I get to look through the 4 scroll rewards. I can use a colored cube as anything. Right now I have the most in purple, so I'll have where my purple cubes will be treated as any other color. I'm going to go ahead and solve another contract, because I can solve level 1 contracts still. I'll do the one here that requires 2 scrolls and any kind of good. That lets me earn a favor, which is a point. And now I'd earn 5 points for just completing that. And I'm going to spend probably an orange cube, because I want my purple to still be available. Corrupt Magistrate is going to try and get scrolls. I think that is the only available location to take scrolls. So they're going to hang out in the back. There are 2 total buildings combined of theirs, so they will take 2 scrolls. Now they have a total of 3, so they'll earn the 2 times scrolls. They'll pick whichever they have more of, caravan cards or mosque advancement. So neither. I'll say they pick randomly. They picked the favor one. There is that. They have a camel to jump the line. High Courtier will take that camel. And I'm jumping into first again. That's nice. I could go in the middle instead of building. Is that something that I want to do? That would be nice. Giving my game plan here. I'll go in the middle. I'm going to earn a white cube by placing my camel in the center there. I will activate him right here, so they'll earn me a teal, an orange, and a purple cube. Now I'm going out into this area. I will place that there. Now I could spend a tan cube. Purple cubes act as anything for me. So I could earn the pistachio. I don't know if I want to buy another good. I could. But I might want to save my stuff for ransom, because I don't have any gates protecting. So I think I'm going to go ahead and save my goods. So Corrupt Magistrate will go. They are going to want to do items. If I remember right, that's the only available one right now. They'll go there, and there's that. Now there's 3 items, 3 available people there. They'll pick there. I would say they go there and get a favor, and then next would be there. They'll get a rapier and diamonds. I think that's how that works. Now they're going to solve a quest as much as they can, which would probably be this one for the most points, because it costs 1 scroll, and right there would give them 8 points. They would earn a favor, which would give them 2 more points. Dang. Now I went first. We'll just place him there, so that'll block that mosque space. They'll jump once with their camel. I'll go ahead and take that camel. Let's see what happens. And then they'll jump to the front. Last turn of this round. High Courtier, Corrupt Magistrate, gets to go first. Building walls. There are no available walls to build. Available active rows. There are available active rows. We'll just draw another card. They're going to do mosque. There is a couple spaces left for mosque advancements. Now it's going to be most of their buildings, which will be way up here. And there's only 1 spot available for that. So this shows them deviating a little bit from the plan. Now there's 3 combined buildings. They're going to pick the leftmost space. So they'll earn the camel, and then that's 1, 2, and 3. When they earn this, they just earn 3 points. They don't place one out there. Then they're just going to earn a favor like normal. Now they went first, so they're going to put the High Courtier where I have the most buildings. There's right here. There's 3 of mine. So then by default, I'll place a building there. Now it'll be my turn. I wanted to interact with the camel market. I could just go heavy on the scrolls. I can't activate his buildings. That's the downside. Might as well take advantage of my own buildings and earn a purple and an orange cube. I'm going to activate the scroll section. So I will get rid of 2 different kinds of cubes. I'll get rid of an orange and a teal to get rid of 2 more. That's 2 more scrolls, so now I get the level 6. This lets me do something immediately. I could immediately build a wall without having to spend any of the cubes. Build a wall without spending any of the cubes. I'll do that, because I want to build a gate. It could be really nice. And I'll build a gate right there, because that would earn me 1, 2, 3, 4 influence for being such a nice guy. And now I could actually solve another quest or a contract, which I will. This is 2 goods, 2 scrolls, and a good right there. I'll place my teal cube out here, spending it for that contract. That's going to earn me 3 points. And now I get to deploy a soldier. Do I want to place a soldier on my own? Or I could be nice and place it right there and earn me 2 more influence. My courtier's here. I'll jump one to go straight in line. Whoa, my camel. And then corrupt magistrate will go right there and earn that camel. But I gotta go get it. It just jumped off the table. Now it is Mongolian invasion time. Do I want to pay ransom? We'll go here. They never pay ransom. That's one thing about them. I'll pay ransom for that one. They're safe. I can pay ransom for that one as well. He's safe. They don't pay ransom. Safe. Gone. I think they only get safe from that one side. Well, the soldier's there the whole time, sorry. Gone. Safe. Do I want to pay ransom? I'll pay ransom. No, I'll get rid of that one. And then they'll get rid of that one. They don't pay ransom. Attack, attack. They're safe. These are all going away. These are going away. I was nice and saved him. And then finally, that one goes away as well. So that was the terrible Mongolian invasion. I have a couple of cubes left over for solving quests. Now in the scoring phase, I get to spend 1 favor to get 1 point per scroll. I have 6. So thankfully that was 6. Now they don't have to spend any favor. Now it's 3 times their goods. 3, 6, 9, 12. So they're up to 42 points. 1 point per building. That's 3 for me. And then 2 for them. Neither of us have earned the 3 point right here or gotten to the top of the mosque. So now we're going into the final round of the game. Shuffling the cards. So now there's 5 things they could potentially do. Good thing is I get to start off. I wouldn't mind just still going down this scroll thing and doing all the scrolls. Go down this middle row here. Place a building right there. That'll earn me a teal cube, an orange cube, and a maroon cube. I'll interact with the middle, placing a camel, saying, hey, I want a rare good. So I'll get that rare good there. Now I will establish an outpost out here. That'll earn me that favor, which gives me another point. Now I could spend these 2 to earn another one of those. I'm so close to being able to solve one of those quests. Add a cube and you could buy, oh, I guess you could trade and get either one. Let me double check this. You can buy up to 1 good from each inner city and each outer city. I only bought from here. I could buy from another city where I have established a trade. I'll go out here with the orange cube and buy me some peaches. It's good that you read the rules and know how to play. Now I'm very close. Oh, I can solve level 3 contracts. I'll go out here with a little favor. Now I'll spend an orange cube. It requires a blue good and 2 rare goods. That is 12 points and a favor. Slowly figuring this game out. That was all just my turn. Jeez. Corrupt Magistrate is going to think about getting some palace actions going on. Where are the palace actions? They're still kind of taken. That's it. So where they have the most buildings, and then where the High Courtier has the most buildings. So by default, it's the one down here. Now there is 3 buildings, so they get to place a person. They'll go here. They don't get a favor. Now I went first. I get to choose where the High Courtier goes. I'm not worried about mosques so much. This area, we'll place him in the back. Now he's going to place him where I have the most buildings in a perpendicular row. That'll be here and here. And then it'll be where they have the fewest buildings. It's both of those. And then closest to the queue. Unfortunately, it'll take that scroll action away from me, but I think I'm still fine. There, I don't have any camels. And they have 2 camels, but they're not going to use them. So now it is the Corrupt Magistrate's turn to go. They're going to worry about scrolls. That might be the only open scroll location, because the other ones are taken. By default, they will go here. Now there's only 1 building there. They will take 1 scroll. Now they're at 4. They're just going to ignore the effect. They take 1 randomly and score 3 points. I think it's time to rack up some favor. I'll go here. Place my building there. I'm going to get a tan cube, but I'm going to spend the tan and the white cube because I have to spend 2 to place my second person out here. And now I can get 2 points per scroll instead of 1. That'll be nice. Now they went first. They're going to put the High Courtier where I have the most buildings. That would be right here. That was easy. And then I get to place a building. I'm not worried about either of those. Not worried about clogging up so much either. I don't have a camel. There we go. That was a quick setup. They're going to go again. They're going to go out here and take goods. So they will establish a market out here that'll earn them a favor and 3 points. So they're at 50 points. Now they get a good per... Oh, I didn't even place their person. Jeez. I'm out here. Go ahead and doing the action. Like they can just get away with it. They can't cheat that much. There's actually a tie, so they're going to go furthest. A tie in all aspects. So yeah, they placed their outpost, they got the good, and now there are 3 buildings, so they get 3 goods. And I would say like that. And then they can solve a quest. They're probably going to solve the one that would give them the most points for those 3 goods. That's 12 points. And now that lets them deploy a soldier northmost unprotected. That would give them 2 influence. Me. Where I could get some goods at, or scrolls. They've blocked those areas, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna probably... Unfortunately, I think I'm kind of done with my strategy and have to pivot a little bit here. I don't like having to do that. I could just go here in the middle, earn a bunch of cubes, and buy some goods. Right here, I'll activate this right here, which will give me a teal cube, an orange cube, and a maroon cube. And now I'll go ahead and take the camels from the market. Why not? They're there for the taking. Now I'm going to go ahead and establish a trading post, and I can buy from each area. So I'll buy peaches. Purple cube lets me get the rapier. And I wish I had one more good. We might be able to make that work though. They went first. They're going to put High Courtier where I have the most buildings. The only one available is right there. I think I want to block the mosque. I'm not worried about that so much. Do I want to use my camels? Yes. I will put both my camels there. So I will have the lead. They are going to take that one, and they will take that one. So they each get a camel. Now I'll be next up to bat. And the decision has to be made. And I think I will go here, activate this building here, orange and maroon. I could establish another trading post. In buying something right now, I could buy a pearl. I'm being lazy, I can't find it, so I'm just going to say that's a pearl. I bought it from down there. Now I do have 3 different goods. I have a rare good, a common good, and then there's that. So that's 10 points for me, and then I get to earn a favor, which is 2 more points. Now Corrupt Magistrate is going to go. They're going to want to build walls. The only available wall location is that one. That will be their location of choice. There are 2. They will build 2 walls. These are the 2 cheapest. They like doing the high courtiers, so that would be 4. And more of the high courtiers. They only get 1 point for doing theirs. My brain. They would get one there, or 2 there, 2 there, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. They would probably do, this would give them the most points, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So they had earned 6 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I went first, I get to choose where to place the high courtier. I'll place him there. Now he would jump a spot. He would jump a spot, and then I get to choose those camels. Now we're going to have an invasion. Safe, safe. I'm not paying any. I'll pay the ransom for that one. I don't know if I paid my cube for my contract, so I'll get rid of it. Just dead, dead. Boom, boom, safe. Dead, dead. Dead, dead. Dead, 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 dead. All right, that's all that's surviving. So I would get 1 point and they would get 1 point per our buildings. Now I get to spend 2 influence to score these 2 guys. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's only 65 points. They would get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And then they would get 1 point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Neither of us collected any of the cards, so we don't score any of those. And then neither of us made it so far to collect those. And that was the game. I think that's probably the highest score I've made so far. I've barely made 50. They almost got 100. I usually always get stomped by them. I'll go ahead and give my review right here instead of the camera facing me. We'll do it a little bit different. I really do enjoy this game. The solo's fun. It takes a little bit to learn, but this cheat sheet does help. Some of the rules seem ambiguous and kind of don't make sense to me, but I kind of treat solo players logically. I would just have them take a turn like it would benefit me the least and benefit them the most. And that feels more like a real player than just like a bot running on rails. This is a very cut and dry game. You're collecting cubes to buy different resources to then use those to deliver. It's not pick up and deliver, so to speak, but you are collecting, converting, and delivering in order to complete certain goals. But there are restrictions onto those goals, which is nice. You do that by being friendly. It's almost semi-cooperative. There is a little bit more player interaction in this game than there is in other typical Euro games, because your action spaces are out here. I mean, most of the Euro games, they are on a board and you go out there and you block each other, and crap, I can't use that, so I have to kind of replan my strategy. But worst comes to worst, you can use other players' buildings in a multiplayer and they'll still reap the benefits. So you can do a little bit of table talking in a multiplayer. In a solo, you can't. You can't use their buildings. But I've noticed that there's not really a need to do so. Best strategies, and you're coming from a guy who can't even get more than 50 points, best strategies is probably picking one thing and going with it. I really try to pick on solving these cards. You could collect sets over here, and if you get a whole set, that's 10 points, which is a lot in this game. If you get 2 sets, that's 20. That's a huge step in this game. Or going up the mosque and going up this temple track, which this is a temple track. You spend the goods to go up. There's lots of games that are like that, where it's a fight for the temple track and you earn stuff on the way. The real important part that I tend to always miss is the palace, because this is a scoring phase, and if you're missing out on scoring, you're going to miss out on winning, obviously. So pick a strategy and go with it, but don't forget to stop at the palace and actually spend workers to earn the points for something that you're doing. The artwork in this game is phenomenal. I love Ian O'Toole. I have a huge collection of Vita Lacerda games that have all his artwork in it. Absolutely love it. This makes this game go from beige to amazing and colorful, and it actually kind of fits with the theme of the game. And speaking of theme, the theme is absolutely non-existent. It is a very dry Euro game. I would say the Mongolian thing seems kind of silly, but it is a way of clearing up space for each round, because you're building, you're like, oh man, it's getting clogged, what am I going to do? And then bam, they all get attacked. And there is kind of an incentive to be nice to the other players and build for them. So that is something to think about. Do I want to help them, or do I want to help me? Do I want to be selfish, or do I want to be selfless? The favorite track's really cool because you go up and down. I normally don't go much above right here on the favorite score, because this is an area that I don't focus on enough, and I should. And the High Courtier is a cheater. They pretty much almost always max out on the influence. That's actually, I think, the lowest I've ever had them. Most of the time whenever I play, they're maxed out on both. And this was actually the first solo game I played where they did not go for the cards. They did the same thing I did, but I stuck to my guns. I wanted to complete a lot of contracts, and I did. I would really recommend this game to someone who enjoys Euro games, real dry. I wouldn't say this is like a balancing scales kind of thing, like Tekkenu and Teotihuacan, the T games, where it feels really tight economically. I mean, this is kind of like a tight game where you can make errors, but there is room for changing your game plan. In the other T games, you have to be real particular, and you can get punished for not doing the right action. But there's a little room for leeway here, like you have the white cubes, and then if you get enough scrolls, you can treat a different colored cube as any other color, and that's nice to have. And then you can activate other players' colors in multiplayer, so worst comes to worst, you can help other people out while still getting whatever you need. And then if you advance up the temple track, you can get potentially even more cubes. I tend to ignore the temple track a lot. My main focus in this game is building walls, and then I'm visiting out here in the cities. And I still did that. I focused more on the scrolls this time. But I do really enjoy this game. I like playing it. And I got a very awesome 3D insert made for this game. It is a lot to unpack. It is kind of a bear of a setup. The rules really aren't that difficult. They're not very intuitive. I think that's what makes it difficult to retain how to play this game, because it isn't just I go there and I do that. Then you have to earn all the cubes of the same colored building that you're activating. And some of the rules, I feel like I'm still learning as I go, especially out here, because you can establish only one trading post on this action, but you can buy from any building or area that you have a post. And you can place a camel to go to a place you haven't been to buy. So some of these rules is just kind of implying that you can do more than what is written. So there's a little bit of reading between the lines. There might have been a language translation barrier, because I don't know if this is an English speaker that wrote this game, but I feel like there was a little bit of a translation barrier. I know in Uwe Rosenberg games that tends to happen a lot. That happened in Ark Nova, because I think that designer is German. And yeah, I mean, the rulebook's good, but there is a lot of reading between the lines. It doesn't hold your hand. So I see a lot of questions asked on the forums on the forum page on BGG on how to play this. So yeah, read between the lines. Kind of assume you can do what you can, and you'll be fine. Anyways, that's how you play Merv. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.